Well, humans, I'm sorry to say it, but it's official. Robots have just been given some of the same legal rights as we humans. The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration has officially ruled that the software that drives some automated cars should be considered the legal driver, as in the government just gave robots their first licenses to drive in the U.S. And that's because of Google, which should come as no surprise since they just can't wait to sell us millions and millions of their self-driving cars. In November, they wrote a request to the Safety Administration for information on what kind of safety regulations their self-driving cars should follow, since their cars have no need for a human driver. Will they need the same amount of mirrors as cars with human drivers, or seat belts? That kind of thing. So the Safety Administration wrote back to Google, and this is what they said. If no human occupant of the vehicle can actually drive the vehicle, it is more reasonable to identify the driver as whatever, as opposed to whoever, is doing the driving. Then they also said that they will interpret driver in the context of Google's described motor vehicle design as referring to the self-driving system and not to any of the vehicle occupants. In other words, the government recognizes the robot as the driver, not any of the humans sitting there like lumps of flesh in these self-driving cars. The car has the license, not you, the passive human. The Safety Administration said lots of things about regulating self-driving cars in their letter to Google, like how they should probably still require a brake pedal in the vehicle for humans to override the robot driver. It was a really long letter that spells out a ton of guidelines the Safety Administration is thinking about when it comes to these self-driving cars. And the reason that's important is because if Google or any automaker wants to mass produce self-driving cars, they're going to need the approval from this agency. And that agency just started spelling out what they want, which includes giving robots their official licenses to drive. And that in turn gives the robots some of the same legal rights as humans. So they are that much closer to taking over for us at the wheel, which is great for corporations like Google and for the robots and for humans who no longer want any control of themselves and who would rather just be passive lumps throughout their lives. We'll see how many of those there are when the robots finally hit the road. Tonight, let's talk about that.